I'm Karlin Borisenko. In early 2020, I was the knitting Democrat who accidentally went viral on the internet for going to a Trump rally and then left the party. I became the conservative darling, was on all the shows, traveled around the country, and then realized that conservatives were no better than Democrats. If there's one thing that I've learned, it's that both political tribes are two sides of the same coin. But it wasn't all bad. On my journey, I became obsessed with understanding the woke ideology and the culture war. I broke the story of the city of Seattle doing segregated training with its employees.
How bad has this stuff become? The city of Seattle has now put out, I'm not kidding you, this is according to Dr. Karlin Borisenko, who's an organizational psychologist. The city of Seattle asked its white employees to voluntarily spend a day off in a training about their internalized racial superiority.
I broke the story that led to the first ever federal lawsuit against critical race theory in the schools. I broke the Coke Be Less White story, one of the biggest anti-woke stories of all time. It got over 30 million views. Coca-Cola's corporate headquarters even had to change their outgoing voicemail.
Throughout the past few days, you may have seen inaccurate reporting on the content of our recently launched diversity, equity, and inclusion training program.
I exposed the schools in Burlington, Vermont for grooming middle school children live on the internet. They called me an unwoke cult leader for that. And the Vermont Human Rights Commission slandered me publicly as being a hate channel. I even got called a hero in Breitbart for exposing that the Washington Post was writing a hit piece on Christopher Rufo. I have broken story after story after story about what's going on in the public schools, from Cambridge, Massachusetts, to autistic sex education, to the Department of Education in Michigan, literally training teachers all over the state how to groom children. I wrote a book called Actively Unwoke, the ultimate guide for fighting back against the woke insanity in your life. I host a podcast all about fighting back, and I'm downloading all of my knowledge to you on my Substack, karlin.substack.com. The world is a crazy place. We are literally surrounded by cults on all sides. On this show, we're going to do a deep dive into all aspects of the culture war, and I will show you the dark, dystopian underbellies on both sides. Here are the commitments I'll make to you. I will always tell you the truth. I will always bring you receipts. And if you stick with me, I promise you will see the world differently. Welcome to the cult. Please mount that like button for me and subscribe if you feel so inclined. Well, I bet you guys didn't expect me to go live early, did you? That would be a first, wouldn't it? So it's time to have a discussion. Now, I've joked in the past about my once every kind of 6-month crying video where I'm like, this all sucks and I quit. And then I reconsider, and then, I get all this good feedback. Oh, Karlin, don't do it. Your work is so valuable. Da, 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 da. And don't get me wrong. I do appreciate the feedback. I do. I really, really do. And I don't want anyone to think that I don't, because I really, really do. But we do this every 6 months or so where I reach a breaking point with what I'm doing and I can't do it anymore. But this time we reached the breaking point 1 month ago, and now today I'm at another breaking point. And that to me tells me that it's time to have a frank conversation, which I thought I did a month ago. But apparently not good enough. I woke up today and actually things were, by the way, I'm absolutely going to cry on this stream. I am absolutely going to cry. It is absolutely going to happen. It is absolutely going to happen. I actually woke up today and I was in a pretty good place. And even last night on my supporter call, I had a great conversation specifically with one of my newer supporters that was on the call, and I was feeling really good. And I was thinking about all these things I wanted to do for next year and all of that. And so I woke up this morning in actually a pretty good place, and I was pretty optimistic about things. And you know what it's like with this? There's at least this is my experience. There's no one thing. There's no one big booming thing that leads you to the breaking point of saying, fuck all of this. I can't do this anymore. What it is it's little thing after 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 little thing. And all of these little things just pile up until that one little thing gets placed right on the top like the cherry, and you reach your breaking point of saying, this is too much. This isn't worth it anymore. A month ago I had a very frank conversation with you guys, and I said to people that I have been for the last year, that a year ago I made a bet that if I doubled down and I just like kept my head down and I went really hard and I did the journalism that no one else in the space is doing. I made a bet a year ago that if I did this and I broke down the ideology in a way that no one else in the space was doing, and I showed you video of the activists on the left that are driving it that no one else in the space is doing. I made a bet over a year ago that if I just do this, if I just show up consistently every single day and I just do better work, quite frankly, than anyone else in the space, I would put what I have produced in the last year by myself with no staff, funded completely out of my savings account. I would put my work up against anyone. I really would. I really think it matches up against every other person out there with these staffs and the producers and the people who do all the research and the writing for them and the video editing for them. And I do every single thing myself. I don't have a team of people. And I would still put what I've been able to produce by myself up against anyone. And I made a bet a year ago that if I just did that, that normal people would show up and fund it, which means that I get to stop funding it out of my savings account. And a lot of people did show up, and I want to acknowledge that. A lot of people did. I am very, very blessed to have, I think, a lot more supporters than a lot of other activists in this space. I am, and I want to acknowledge that, and I want to thank people for it. And I don't know what this means yet for I'm working through what this means, so I hope you don't cancel your subscriptions just yet because I'm still working through what this means. But the reality is that not enough have shown up. And I said a month ago, I need 200 new subscribers by the end of the year to have any hope of making this a financially viable enterprise. And guess what? If less than 1% of the people who consumed my work ponied up and said, "Yeah, Carlin, I read your stuff almost every single day. It's worth $8 a month to me to do that." If less than 1% of the people who read my work every day did that, I would have achieved that goal in one single day. Now, as much as we're talking about money right now, this isn't about like let me just like breaking news, guys. You don't get rich doing what I'm doing. Like, this is not about becoming rich. What it is about is people seeing the value in what I'm doing. What it is about is people seeing the value of my work. And though many people do, quite frankly, not enough. But it's not just that. It's not just that, and we're gonna get into that. Deb says, "Thank you for everything you've done, but you've evolved and it's time to find your joy again." I don't think this is true, Deb. I mean, I appreciate the super chat. I appreciate the thank you. How have I evolved? This isn't my choice, really. I hope you understand that. This is not a reflection. Let me be very, very clear, because this is, and Deb, again, I do appreciate it. I really, really do. But this is how people rationalize when people like me tell you guys the reality of what it's like to be in this space. Say you've evolved. You've no, 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 no. That's not what's happening right now. I appreciate the super chat. That's not what's happening. Even waking up this morning, I had no desire to stop doing what I was doing. What I got smacked in the face with, very overtly, between when I woke up this morning and now, is that nothing I do matters. And that nothing I do will ever be good enough. That's what it is. That's what it is. You know, when I set subscriber goals and things like that, yes, it is about a business reality of needing to be able to fund things so that I can actually do things like, buy food and stuff, even though I barely even eat anymore, which is a whole other ironic thing, but whatever. It's more about it's more about the value of what I'm doing being acknowledged. And if what I was doing was being acknowledged in any significant way outside of this little community that I've been able to create, which again, I do very much appreciate, but the fact is that in order for what I'm doing to have any impact at all, more people need to know about it, and I can't I cannot break out of this. I can't break out of this without selling my soul and giving up everything that I believe in. Martin, thank you for the super chat. Freeloading is a bitter fact of life in today's world. Those of us who create experience it every day. I mean, that's very true, Martin. That's very true, but that's not the only thing that's going on. Who do you need to be acknowledged by to feel what you're doing is meaningful? That's a good question. That's a good question. Do you guys know that clip from Socialism Saturday this past week? Do you guys know that clip where on Socialism Saturday we saw, I posted it on the channel yesterday if you didn't see it. But we were watching this socialist video from a year ago. And these were 4 socialists who had written a book called Social Reconstruction, which is all about what their future vision for a socialist reality looks like. And they overtly said in that clip that the Black Lives Matter rallies of 2020 are going to happen again and again and with greater significance, which means they're going to cause that. And they overtly said in that clip that before the 2024 election, there's going to be some sort of pre-revolutionary crisis. This is one of the most egregious things that we have ever seen in the history of Socialism Saturday. We literally saw far left socialist activists, the same ones pushing all the bullshit into the world, which most people don't understand even where the bullshit is coming from. We know exactly where the Elon Musk fucking tweeted today. I've often wondered where all this woke stuff is coming from. And I was like, bro, like, we know where it's coming from. We know exactly where it's coming from. Anyway, so we saw this clip of the people who are pushing the bullshit into the world that only we're paying attention to. And they overtly said that they are going to basically, like, provoke more Black Lives Matter riots, more with greater frequency and greater severity, and that they're going to provoke some sort of pre-revolutionary crisis before the 2024 election. Does everyone remember that clip? Did people remember that clip from this past Saturday? I also posted a clip of it on the channel yesterday. Anyway, that to me was pretty fucking egregious. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about with my work not being valued. That was pretty fucking egregious. Can we all agree that actually seeing real socialist activists admit that they are going to provoke a pre-revolutionary crisis before the 2024 election is fucking egregious? Can we all agree to that? Do you guys think that that's something that people need to be made aware of? Do you guys think that singular clip is worthy of being shared and having people made aware of it? Okay, so we can all agree on that. Now let me give you an example of why I do not feel like my work is valued. I even hesitate to say this because it really pisses me off. I sent James Lindsay that clip and James Lindsay refused to share it. Now, this didn't come as a surprise to me, to be really honest about it. It didn't come as a surprise to me at all that he didn't share it. Because James Lindsay stopped sharing my work like a year and a half ago. He used to share it all the time. And I've never been anything but supportive of him because I think that what he's doing is incredible. He's the king. Wouldn't share it. And it's just like, it seems like a little thing, right? It seems like just a little thing, but I have so many people who work for the Blaze following my work. None of them shared it. I have people that write for the Epic Times following my work, like subscribe to my emails. None of them share it. I have people like the Daily Wire cribs my shit all the time. Like, I have all of these places that follow my work that I can tell when they're using my talking points. They will not share it. And it's like, how am I supposed to translate what I'm doing out to broader audiences if I'm constantly running into this wall of people, of influencers, of people with larger platforms feeling intimidated or not liking my tone or any of these things? These people will run smear campaigns on me in a heartbeat. But will they actually share anything that matters? And again, I adore James Lindsay's work. I think that he is incredible. I think that he, what he's done is absolutely worthy of admiration. I dedicated the whole final chapter in my book to him for that reason. And it really burns me. That really burned me. I was like, bro, We've gone that far, but that's not the only reason. That's just like one example. Like I said, where I'm at right now, it's little thing, 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 little thing. It's a million fucking little things. It's death by 1,000 fucking cuts. It's the fact that I have done more investigative journalism in this space than anyone on the internet in the last year by myself, funded entirely out of my savings account by myself, with no help, with no editor, with no video editor, with no producer, with no social media manager, with no nothing. And I cannot get the stories that I've covered to be covered in larger places. It doesn't happen. I have wasted countless hours reaching out to these places. They won't cover it. They will cover the stupidest stories on the planet, but they won't cover the important stuff. It really got made clear to me when I put together my newsletter on Sunday. Well, no, hang on. Let's talk about that in a second. See, I hear this all the time. Don't worry about recognition. Just keep going. Well, Thomas, why would I keep going and keep killing myself to do this if it's not being recognized, it's not being shared, it's not being acknowledged, it's not being considered, it's not being integrated at all? And then the other thing people will say is, you're just ahead of your time, Carlin. You're ahead of your time. And I think that that's true. I think that that's true. I am years ahead of. Okay, well, Thomas, I will look forward to receiving your check in the mail for your paying my mortgage for next month, okay, buddy? Because my bank is not actually going to accept when I keep bleeding my savings account dry because this is all I'm doing. I promise you my bank is not going to accept you're doing really important work on the internet that no one is paying attention to. So I'll look forward to receiving your check to cover my mortgage for that because that's otherwise I'm gonna have to go. That's not exactly true. I'm being hyperbolic. I'm not in like the poorhouse or anything like that. That's not true. But I'm trying to make a point that like why do I have to beg people to fund this? I hate having to give ultimatums. I hate having to say, I can't fund this unless I get this many new supporters by the end of the year. I hate it. I hate it so much. Hi, Carlin. I'm sorry. I know this is frustrating. Thank you, Kenneth. I do appreciate it. Donnie is an example of someone who is one of the people who's putting I love your work, Carlin, but you have a mean tone and sometimes you tell the truth about people that they don't like, and therefore your work, being the only person on the fucking internet to expose the socialist activists who are driving every crazy thing in the country. Therefore, none of that matters because, Carlin, sometimes you say mean things about other internet personalities that I really like. And I'm going to place hero worship above beating the left. The hero worship on the right kills me. We'll talk more about that. Sally, thank you. I do appreciate it. See? See, I have to put up with this every single day. Every single day. Every single day from conservatives. bullshit like this every day. Again, talk about little thing, little thing, little thing, little thing, little thing, little thing. You're a total fucking bitch and you know it. All right. Well, I guess that is just way more important than me spending hours every single day exposing what the left is doing. That's just, it's so much more important that I have a mean tone. Here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. And we're going to kind of bounce around a little bit in this call because I don't have notes or anything like that. I'm just kind of going stream of consciousness. Hang on, I have to ban someone on Rumble. One of the things that's driving my thought process in this is that I spend half of my time fighting with the conservative right. I am never attacked by the left at all. Every once in a while. Oh, Kino, thank you. I do appreciate it. Every once in a while, the left will do something that's annoying to me, like preemptively banning me from the socialism conference, or doing some or being annoying or something like that. But the stuff from the left that I have to deal with is nothing, absolutely nothing, compared to the epic amounts of bullshit that I have to deal with from the conservative right. Every single day of my life. You try to help them. You try to explain to them why they're losing. You try to tell them exactly what they need to do to win. You try to show them what's going on. You try to I've made it as simple as it can possibly be made. And every single day of my life, I have people in my feed going, "You're a grifter, you're a leftist, you're fat, you're ugly, you've got a mean tone." These are all conservatives, guys. These are conservative. Like, every single time I post a clip on Twitter from Socialism Saturday, no one actually watches the clip. What they do is they respond in the comments, some inane comment that shows that they haven't actually watched what they're responding to, but then that has absolutely no grounding in reality at all. And then I have to go, well, that's not actually what's going on. And then they start arguing with me and this and that and the other. And it's just like, why am I doing this? Truly. Why am I doing this? Why am I killing myself I was up till 4 a.m. last night. Why am I killing myself every single day to produce this content when it's not appreciated and it's not valued but beyond like the people in my community? And again, I don't want to make it seem like I don't incredibly value people like Murphy's Pool, thank you. I do appreciate it. I don't, just like, why? Why does the right have to attack every single person that, like, let me just, like, if you're a woman and you're over 130 pounds and you don't have the right haircut and you don't show off the boobs, trust me, guys, you're not going to be accepted on the right. And then nothing you do matters. It truly doesn't matter that I'm showing people things about the left that no one else on the internet is showing you. It doesn't matter that I've covered more abolish the family coverage than anyone else on the internet. It doesn't matter that I'm the only person currently going undercover at far left activism events and showing you what's going on. It doesn't matter that I'm the only person on the internet correctly breaking down the woke ideology and the psychology and the mindset behind it in ways that are just plain English, incredibly easy to understand. It doesn't matter that I'm doing any of this because they don't even look. They don't even look. And I just feel like no matter how hard I try, no matter how much stuff I put out there, no matter how nuanced my work is, and I think it's some of the most nuanced work in the space I do. Again, if people think that I'm just making this up or like they'll be like, "Oh, you just have a big head about you." Okay, show me who's doing better work in this space than I am. Show me who is doing better investigative journalism in this space than I am. Seriously. Give me an example. Give me one person that's doing better work than I am on the specific topics that I'm covering. So then why can't I get people to pay attention to it? Why can't why are people more worried about my tone? Why are people more worried about my weight? Why are people more worried about what I look like? Why do I have to deal with this bullshit all day every day? Why do I have people in my feed constantly saying, "Carlin, can you tell us how to fight back against the left?" And then I say, "I wrote a whole book about that." And then they go, "You're a grifter!" Every fucking day. Like you really think you're going to put the effort in necessary to beat the left, but you won't spend $14 on a book? By the way, I don't make any money on my book, really. None. So when I tell you I've written a book on it, I'm not rolling in cash from the book that I wrote. But I'm still a grifter anyway. Okay. Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. I have to hear that every day of my life. This all started to come to a head for me when I put together my newsletter on my Substack the other day. Because last week was like a quiet week, was Thanksgiving, right? And so I didn't do a lot of content because I was trying to like just chill and relax because I'm obviously and clearly getting burnt out. And so I put together this newsletter where I went through not even every story that I've covered this year, but like a little highlight reel. This isn't even everything. This is maybe like half of the investigative journalism that I've done this year, but it's like a highlight reel. And I put together this list of like, here is all the stories that I've done. And we'll talk about some of them. This whole long list. This is over 24 stories that I've covered that quite literally no one else on the internet has covered. No one else on the internet has covered this stuff. Have I been able to get coverage for any of this? No. Maybe onesies. I shouldn't say not for any of it. Onesies and twosies here and there. But for the most part, I am quite literally the only person talking about this. And this is not because conservative media and conservative influencers don't know about it. They do know about it. A, because they all follow me. B, because for at least half of these stories, I made sure they knew about it. They refused to cover it. If this is the end, go out with a bang. The biggest spy stream is happening a week from today. Well, I really wish you hadn't given out the date, Kino. I want to make it very clear. I am keeping my commitments through the end of the year. So we're still doing a spy stream tomorrow. We're still doing this big infiltration because I've already planned it. So we're going to do it. But I really do need to do some reevaluating in the next month because maybe, I don't know, man, maybe people will come through. Maybe people will come through. I can't discount that. Maybe people will come through. I mean, everyone's coming through right now. Thank you, Kenneth, for becoming a member of the YouTube channel. Listen, guys, like, here's the thing, though. I really hate that I need to get pushed to the point of saying, I'm quitting, mother effers, for people to like, Why does it have to go this far? Why do I literally have to get pushed to the point of, like, I can't do this anymore. I've been pushed too far. I'm too burnt out. I can't keep going like this. And then all of a sudden, like, and again, I appreciate you guys. I really, really do. But it's just like, I wish it didn't have to go this far. I wish I didn't need to get smacked in the face with the fact that something is not working about what I'm doing. And I really do appreciate the I wanna say this too, I'm not doing this to get people to send me super chats because they feel bad. That's not the purpose of this. I do appreciate it, but I wanna make that very, very clear, like, because we've been round and round about this a couple times now where I've said, like, things need to change, and then people send me a lot of super chats, and they that it's fine, Kino. Um, and people send me a lot of super chats, and they send me a lot of nice things, and I do appreciate all of that, guys. I really, really do. But what I need you to do is to show up. Just like doing simple things like mounting the like button on my channel, making sure you're subscribed to my channel, knowing that I go live at the same times every day so you don't need YouTube notifications to remind you, clicking on my videos when they're served in YouTube. I am shadow banned to high heaven on YouTube because people refuse to click on fucking videos when they are served to them. I'm not saying you have to watch the whole thing, but can you click on the video when you see it pop up and watch like 5 seconds of it? Like, that's going to feed the YouTube algorithm, and that's gonna get YouTube to, like, unshadow ban my channel. I can't get people to do that. None of these things cost money. I would take someone making a commitment to click on one of my videos when YouTube serves it to them and watch it for a couple seconds over a $5 super chat any day, because that's going to drive the algorithm and that's going to get more people to see my I can't do that though, because I beg and I beg and I beg and I beg and I beg for people to do it, and they don't do it. I can't get people to share the work on Twitter. I can't get people to, share the work out to their community groups. I mean, I know some people are doing it and I don't want to discount that, but again, it's like one of those situations where, like, if a tree falls in the middle of the woods and no one hears it, does it really make a sound? If I'm doing all this work and I'm putting all this effort in and I'm burning myself out and I'm working until all hours of the night, and then I can't get anyone to cover it because she's too fat, she's too ugly, she's a bitch, she has a mean tone. And the really fun ones are when they call me a pedophile. Oh, that's really great. I don't even like kids. I generally keep kids as far away from me as possible. But oh yeah, you're gonna spread a rumor that I'm a pedophile. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's really great, bro. That's really great. Go fuck yourself. Tayton says people won't share work that makes their convictions wrong. Well, then people aren't interested in the truth. And again, there's just no point then. Hope this helps. Question: who or what show would be your dream shout out that you would feel would give you the best boost? I don't even know. I don't even know. That's a good question. Any, any, any. Because the thing is like I feel like I really shouldn't have to be begging these people to cover this. I really shouldn't have to be begging these people to cover it. Why do I have to beg people to cover things that they claim to care about, to cover stories that are directly about the problem that they claim to care about? So I guess I would settle for any. Any show that's actually interested in covering the real problems, not the bullshit political stuff, which of course is the reason they're not covering it, because they're not interested in actually covering real problems. They're only interested in covering bullshit. I mean, this is exactly right. Brooklyn says it exactly right. You know what it is, jealous cunts competing for the flower due to their fucking ego. That's exactly what it is. Because guys, that's really what the content creation game is. It's a bunch of like it's a bunch of people who are competing for attention, for money, and for clicks, and that's all it is. It's not about actually showing what's happening. It's not about solving the problem. This has been one of the most draining things to me of this entire affair. It's like none of these people with big shows actually care about the problem. Do you wanna know why I can't get my stuff covered on these big shows? Because none of them actually care about the problem. People don't like to hear this, though. Conservatives really don't like to hear this because conservatives engage in hero worship, and they put their influencers on a pedestal even though their influencers lie to them all the time, whisper the sweet nothings in their ears that they are desperate to hear. None of them are actually interested in solving the problem. I'm just scrolling through the chat, hang on. Well, no, it's not that YouTube is not being fair to me. It's that people don't click on my content when it's served to them. Let me be very clear about this, guys. Do you know how channels get shadow banned? It's people don't click on the content when it's served to them. I promise you that if you clicked on a video of mine when it was served to you, YouTube would serve you more videos of mine. That's just reality, but people don't like to hear that. They wanna believe it's everything about shadow banning, and it's just not. Like, the YouTube algorithm is gonna feed you stuff that you click on. Steven Crowder's not interested, Tim Pool is not interested, Andy Ngo is a good guy who every once in a while I can get to share my work, but, that's about it. Andy Ngo shared the American Library Association president that I recorded saying libraries should be sites of Marxist organizing. I also do generally think that Andy's a good guy, but the post-millennial and Libby Emmons, who Andy is attached to, hates me. Well, mostly I actually hate her too. Like, I think she's a raging cunt, but, this is the problem though. It's like this is part of the problem though. See, I'm not gonna play the game with these people. I'm not gonna kiss Libby Emmons' ass in any way, shape, or form because that would be selling out my values. Because that woman is a raging cunt. And so then it goes, but like the thing is like I honestly thought at some point that my work would speak for itself. But I guess it's never gonna happen. I mean, Mark and everyone wish Mark a happy birthday, by the way. Go and follow Mark and his work if you haven't already because he's doing a good job. Um, Mark says, I noticed how important this work was after the first stream I watched of Carlin's, but Mark, how many people do you know who who wouldn't even look at what I was doing because they heard a smear campaign about me that was spread by conservatives. That kind of like is part of the point, you know? Hang on, I'm just going through the chat. The trigonometry guys know about me. I've been on trigonometry, but only when I was a conservative media darling, which I'm not anymore. And so they fully well know that they know how to get in touch with me if they wanted to. They follow me. They have for a long time. Absolutely not. I will never run for office again. That will never happen. Well, I did speak at PorkFest last year. I will not be speaking at PorkFest this year because the woman organizing PorkFest is just like an absolute one of the worst nightmares that I've ever seen in my life. I want nothing to do with it. I've thought about speaking directly to the public, but I need groups to organize those events. Because again, I cannot do everything by myself, guys. And by the way, I want to say, like, I do appreciate people giving all the suggestions in the chat. I really, really do. But there are bigger issues at play here, and we're going to talk about that. But I want to make sure I acknowledge people in the chat because I know that everyone is trying to be helpful, and I know that the people who are watching right now. So I do wonder why the hell do I have 260 people watching right now when like an average stream is like, where the hell are you guys? Like, honestly, how many do I have on Rumble? About the same as usual on Rumble. But like, where are you guys normally? Why do I have to do a video about quitting to get people to come and watch, you know? I mean, Tom knows about me. And I like Tom. He can share my work if he wants to. Your work speaks for itself. The reason they don't promote you is because they suffer narcissistic injury every time you get proven right, which is fucking daily. Yeah, that's exactly it. You would think that these people would care more about winning than they do about their fucking fragile egos at some point, but Just Jamie, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Anyway, I want to talk about what happened. I want to talk about this. So, I put together this newsletter this past week, and this is like not even every like investigative like journalism piece that I've written this past year. This is like the highlight reel of it. And let me just talk to you about these stories. Because I've done a lot of shit this year. And again, I would say I think that I've done more investigative and undercover journalism about what is going on the left than anyone else covering this space. And I really want to challenge people. If you think that I'm just propping up my own ego, if you think that I'm just patting myself on the back, if you think I'm too big for my britches, then name for me one single person in the last year who has covered as many unique stories with as much depth and nuance as I have. I want to see names in the comments or names in the chat. If you're going to come in and say, "Well, you're just you think a lot of yourself, don't you? Your ego's just too big." We started out the year with autistic sex education, which is one of the most disturbing things I've ever covered in my life. We went inside an autistic sex ed training. that basically showed how they are grooming autistic children in schools. There are clips all over this on my Substack, on my YouTube, on my Twitter. I got zero media coverage for this. Zero. And it wasn't that we didn't try. Fox News actually booked me to come on, and then they immediately canceled it, and they never got back to me about rescheduling. This is a literal video fucking proving, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that they're grooming autistic children in schools. Did people want it? People, like, there were all these stories this past year. Autumn, we're not fucking doing this today. There were all these stories this past year of autistic kids are more susceptible to being non-binary. Autistic kids are more susceptible to gender ideology. Well, do you want to know why that is? Because they literally have programs targeting autistic children, and I covered it and I laid it all out, and it was clear as day to anyone who watched it, and I couldn't get anyone to cover it. No, Joshua and I are not doing nothing remotely controversial tonight because I don't think I'm going to be up to it. This was my decision. It was not his decision. I have covered more abolish the family content than anyone else on the internet. This is a story related to abolish the family, which abolish the family is one of the key things that the far left is trying to do. They're making direct attacks on parental rights. They're making, and this is happening all over the country right in front of us. And I covered a story about there being a story in a medical journal where they're trying to figure out how to incubate babies inside brain dead bodies. This is an abolish the family thing that's being pushed by the socialist left. Does anyone else know about this? No, because I'm the only one fucking covering it. We did a three-part series where I found this random open Google Drive folder that had all of the training webinars that the state of Michigan was using for teachers in the state of Michigan. They just had it on a Google Drive that was like, I found some random link in some file somewhere that linked to the Google Drive where they had all the videos. And so we were actually able to watch the training that the Michigan Department of Education was doing with teachers all over the state of Michigan, showing explicitly that they are teaching teachers how to groom children. There are 3 parts to this series. There are clips for all of them. I spent countless hours making clips of all this stuff. I tried to get it out there. No one wanted to effing share it. Yes, it's downloaded. It's all linked there. Like, everything is available. We watched it on this channel. Everything is available. No one shared it. I reached out to one high-level political operative who was actually doing work in Michigan for Tudor Dixon. And I said, hey, I have this stuff. I have these videos. No one else has seen these videos. Do you think that maybe this stuff would be useful? I've already covered that. When in fact they hadn't covered it. They hadn't covered it at all. They didn't even look at what I had. They wouldn't. This was something that they were working on specifically. They lied to me and told me they'd already covered it when they hadn't covered it because I was the only one that had access to it. I was the only one that found the random fucking link to the fucking Google Drive. But God forbid we show that to a larger audience, huh? How about Burlington, Vermont? Now, Ben Shapiro stole my journalism about Burlington, Vermont. Laura Ingraham stole my journalism about Burlington, Vermont. Neither of them would have had the stories about Burlington, Vermont had I not found the stories about Burlington, Vermont. But I'm the only one that kept going back and covering stuff from Burlington. I've covered several stories from Burlington. I've covered the fact that 44% of students in the Burlington, Vermont school district are currently identifying as genderqueer or gender non-binary. I've covered the fact that Burlington's actually implementing programs right now to have students run the groomer training for the communities. Covered that all in my Substack. No one covered that. I spent a day I spent a day undercover at a socialist reproductive justice conference where I literally went on a self-managed abortion tour complete with abortion doula and self-worship abortion shrine. I sent this to the Blaze. The Blaze claimed they were going to put it in a newsletter. Never did. Never did. I literally, in this article, have pictures. This is the self-managed bathroom abortion tour. This is the self-worship abortion shrine. I literally have pictures of a fucking abortion worship shrine that I got undercover from this socialist reproductive justice event. This is literally a shrine where after a woman has a self-managed bathroom abortion, she then, after she bleeds her baby into the toilet, because that's what a self-managed abortion is, you take pills and then you bleed out the child into the toilet. After you do that, you go and you worship yourself, not the baby that you've just bled into the toilet. You go and worship yourself at the self-worship abortion shrine. I have pictures of all of this. No one would cover it. I sent Brad, State Rep 37 District in Michigan. They haven't done anything with this information. Exactly. See, we try to get this to people. We try to get this to the right people, and nothing ever happens with it. Nothing. I covered a psychotherapy practice in Western Massachusetts that I met at the reproductive justice conference, where they're literally giving psychotherapy to trans and non-binary 3-year-olds. And also, by the way, along with this, there is a book list. There's a book list in this that has like a master list of all the books that they're using to groom like elementary school students into gender ideology. I have like a 4-page fucking book list. I still have it. I posted it on this article. I sent that to the Blaze because you know what's funny? The Blaze, the people at the Blaze wrote me and they were like, well, can you convince us that our audience would be interested in this? And I said, I have a 4-page book list of all the books that they're using to groom children in elementary school. You don't think your audience would be interested in that? Never covered it. Never covered it. I covered when the Colorado Teachers Union passed a resolution denouncing capitalism. I covered Queer Math Summer Camp. I was going to take you inside this teacher training conference that teaches teachers how to queer your kids, but they canceled it at the last minute, so we didn't get to go undercover in that, but I still covered the sessions from it anyway. And then I covered how they canceled it and how they sent out this crazy letter to their audience about why they canceled it, but we were going to go inside there. But we didn't get a chance to because we got them to cancel it. I've given people proof that anti-racist math is being taught in elementary school. Do you know how conservatives thank me for this one? They clipped a clip of me out of context on Fox News and shared that clip out of context to make me look like a raging SJW for years and years and years and years and years. The one many people have seen it, the one where I look like I'm advocating for anti-racist math when in fact I'm trying to explain what anti-racist math is. So conservatives will share that. I had Young America's Foundation clip that out of context and share it on their social media properties. I've had like all of these goddamn influencers share that clip of me talking about anti-racist math out of context for clicks and likes on the internet. But when I actually provide them proof, verifiable proof, that anti racist math is being taught in elementary school right effing now, does anyone share that? Does anyone care about that? No. I am the only person to cover that Tufts University is actively running studies right now trying to reverse engineer why students become non binary, and they're literally studying non binary 3-year-olds in a grant funded study at Tufts University. I am the only person to cover that there is a groomer middle school that is running currently in New York City right now exclusively for trans and non-binary children. Only person to cover that. I was the only person to show you direct evidence of how Target is funding queer activism in your kid's school through GLSEN. And that wasn't the angle that a lot of people took with the Target stuff, but I did, because the things that Target is funding in schools is actually much more important than like a chest binder. They're training your kids to be queer activists. That's what the Target money is going to in schools. They're training kids to be queer activists. Well, yeah. I'm the only person to cover queer theology being taught by the Toronto School of Theology, so much so that I got them to delete the videos that they put publicly, where they were talking about Christian BDSM clubs and gangbangs with God and the Holy Spirit and all this stuff. This was a crazy thing. Um, they've since deleted the videos publicly, but I have them. Substack has them. I covered what the NEA was teaching at their conference for teachers, which is all of the woke shit that's going to end up in your kids' classrooms. And on and on. Oh, those are just a couple. Like this was an Antifa conference at Hofstra University. This was a speech where a trans professor from Johns Hopkins was encouraging college students to use do-it-yourself hormones. No one else covered that. I, of course, went undercover at the socialism conference. I was the only person to do that. All the stories I got from the socialism conference. Now, this one got a little bit of coverage. This one did. But most of the places that covered it mysteriously failed to mention where they got it from. They got it because I went and sat in a room for 3 days with 400 like hardcore leftist activists and listened to what they had to say and recorded all of them, etc. We went inside this queer activism training where this one was encouraging students to transition before their brain fully develops. We covered queer psychotherapists, training healthcare providers in New York State, rather, etc., etc. That's like the highlight reel. All of this is from the last year. Everything that I just went through very quickly, this is all from the last year, and this is a highlight reel. Who else is doing more of this than I am? I'm really like, who else is doing more of this than I am? But will my contribution ever be acknowledged? No. All being funded out of the bank account of my savings account. And every single day I have to deal with so much bullshit. Just so much fucking bullshit. Every single day. Every single day I say, they tell me, you're fat, you're ugly, you're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. What makes you an expert on this? Why should we listen to you? It's like, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you shouldn't. I started doing this because I really thought that people would care enough to look past the fact that I'm fat and ugly on the internet and actually focus on the content of what is being covered. But silly me, silly me to expect that. Silly me to expect to get more feedback on my work and more coverage of my work than I get called fat and ugly on the internet. You know, it's like, why do I? And again, it's like little thing, little thing, little thing, little thing, little thing, little thing, little thing until it's like, okay, when is it going to be good enough for you people? When are you actually going to start telling your audience what's really going on? When are conservative influencers going to stop lying to their fucking audiences? Well, Scott Adams blocked me on Twitter, and I have no idea why because I barely interacted with him. I just found out he blocked me one day because someone else sent me something he said, and I was like, oh, well, I don't know what's going on there. So I tried to put together programs to teach people about this stuff. I put together the How to Speak Socialist program, and then a lot of people signed up for that. And I did appreciate the feedback I got on that. And I really thought, I was thinking even earlier today, I was like, maybe I can go and start doing that presentation around the country. And then it was just like, I just got hit in the face with nothing I ever do is going to be good enough. And I'm incredibly burnt out. And if I thought that my work was making a difference, I could fight through the burnout. But it's exhausting. Doing this every single day, watching this content every single day. And remember, I'm not just watching the content once. When I'm making clips of things, I have to watch the content 2, 3, 4 times. So I have to watch it over and over and over and over and over again. But Tim Pool goes on his show and says, guys, we're winning, we're winning, we're winning, we're winning. Conservatives are winning, you're winning, you're winning, you're winning. And I'm just like, it is impossible for me to roll the to teach people what's going on when their influencers lie to them and refuse to cover what's actually going on. Part of the problem with influencers sharing your stuff is they know they can't control you and are afraid you will expose something on their own side. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Do you know why I think that James Lindsay won't share my stuff? Because James Lindsay's in with Moms for Liberty. Moms for Liberty blacklisted me and then blocked me and half my community from their Twitter. Do you want to know why Moms for Liberty blocked me and half my community from their Twitter? Is because we weren't bending the knee to their book banning bullshit. Because I called out the book banning bullshit from the very beginning. Now you would think that given that I'm actually like I know more about what's actually going on in the schools than like almost anyone in the country. You would think that that would make a difference, but no, 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 no. All Moms for Liberty isn't interested in is getting people to support book banning. And James Lindsay works with them and gets paid by them. So he can't be seen to be cavorting with the blacklisted folks. Or maybe he just thinks what I'm doing isn't good. I have no idea, but, I don't know, maybe what I'm doing isn't really that good. Maybe I've overestimated what I'm doing. I really don't know. By the way, what happened with that Moms for Liberty stuff? Because Moms for Liberty lost almost every school board election they ran for in the last election. Millions of dollars invested in that. Millions of dollars invested in them. They lost almost every single school board seat they ran for in the last election. But I can't get 200 new paid supporters to my Substack to fund the investigative journalism that I'm doing that no one else is. What the fuck? I hate begging for people to do the right thing. I hate it. I fucking hate it. And I hate the sense that I have to kiss people's asses in order to get them to cover problems that they claim to care about. Let's talk about Dave Rubin, because this really fucked me up. This really fucked me up bad. Because Dave Rubin was like a pivotal part of my waking up, right? He just was. I mean, he was someone I met early on, when my Trump rally article first went viral, and he had me on his show and he was nice to me, and we talked, a couple times outside of all of this, like just privately, and I always thought he was a nice guy, and I believed him. I believed him. I fucking believed him. And to see what he became, and by the way, like, I started falling out with Dave Rubin probably 2 years ago. And I didn't say anything publicly about it, but what happened is I had these psychos on the internet who told locals, and I shit you not, this is a true story. I have this documented. I had this psycho fucking horde of people on the internet who actually told locals that I was forming a hunting posse in my locals community in order to go and physically hunt them. I got a phone call from him one day saying, "Carlin, are you organizing violence in on my platform?" And I said, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I actually had a group of psychos report me to locals. See, Bot remembers this. They were, and I have it all documented. They reported me to locals saying I was using my community to form a literal hunting posse. And our relationship was never quite the same after that, if I'm honest about it. And part of me was like, "Are you fucking stupid that you believe this?" The answer, of course, is yes. Yes. But I never played that. I was like, you know what? Dave Rubin thinks he's doing the right thing. And then he moved to Florida and he got all up in Ron DeSantis's ass. And I was like, he thinks he's doing the right thing. He thinks he's doing the right thing. We're allowed to disagree. He thinks he's doing the right thing. Whatever. I just kind of left it. And I never really pursued it. Until after October 7th, when Dave Rubin lost his fucking mind. And I swear this comes back around to my stuff, and I'm going to explain how. Dave Rubin lost his fucking mind, started calling around to try to get people fired that didn't agree with him. And I ended up finding out about it because a couple people told me about it, and I kind of got wind of it just because people tell me things sometimes. And I told Nick Fuentes about it. And then Nick Fuentes said it on his show. And then I took the clip of Nick Fuentes saying it on his show and I posted it on Twitter because I was quite frankly really pissed off about this because it goes against everything that Dave Rubin was supposed to stand for. I know I shouldn't feel like a personal betrayal about this because it had nothing to do with me, but it was almost like a personal betrayal. Like, bitch, what the fuck? You have a best-selling book about how no one should be canceled and cancel culture is bad and we should be having constructive conversations and shit like that. And now you're calling around trying to get people fired for disagreeing with you? Like, I took it really personally. I was like, you know what? Thank you for like he proved everyone right about him. He proved Joe Rogan right. He like when Joe Rogan basically refused to have Dave on his shows because he thought Dave was a fraud. And I thought that was stupid at the time. Anyway, so when I posted the clip of Nick Fuentes on Twitter saying that Dave Rubin was calling people's bosses trying to get them fired, Dave was kind of pissed about this and he responded and he unfollowed me on Twitter. But the reason I bring this up is this. He claimed that he had oh, I didn't mean to show that, sorry. He claimed that he had unfollowed me weeks ago because I had been fighting with people on Twitter and he just didn't need to see the fighting in his Twitter feed. Well, if you reverse engineer the timeline of when Dave Rubin claimed he unfollowed me, it was when I was literally exposing content from him, actually, from him right there, Jesse Hagopian. This is what I was talking about on my Twitter when Dave claimed he unfollowed me because he just didn't need this bullshit in his Twitter feed. I was literally posting a fuck ton about this socialist teacher doing fugitive pedagogy in the state of Florida where Dave lives in violation of Ron DeSantis's anti-woke laws. This is the content that I was posting on Twitter around about the time that Dave Rubin claims to have unfollowed me because he just didn't want to deal with that shit in my Twitter. And I was like, bro, you have followed me for years. And you're going to claim that you unfollowed me on Twitter when I'm literally posting about how socialists are obfuscating Ron DeSantis's anti-woke laws in Florida. I have them admitting this on tape. And Dave Rubin, who claims to be against all of this stuff, just didn't think that this content was worthy of following, guys. Literally made his career covering topics like this, made his career covering saying cancel culture is bad, okay? Can we all agree that cancel culture is bad? But this was a step too far. This was the fighting on Twitter that you wanted no part of. Okay, sure. This is the bullshit. That it's like, why am I even doing this? Why am I even doing this? Because everyone in this space turns out to be a fucking disappointment. And there are a lot of people who will say whatever they need to say in order to get in the good graces of the quote unquote right people to be able to get likes and clicks on the internet, but no one's actually showing their audiences what's actually going on. Like, bro. I love your content, but too much of it is buried in the middle of a 1-hour live stream. Perhaps reformat your videos into more dense and shareable 20-minute videos. Well, I do appreciate that, but I do this. I already do this. I spend countless hours making short clips for people to share that I post on both YouTube and Substack and Twitter for that matter. And yet, when I spend countless hours making the clips and again, I appreciate the super chat and I appreciate the recommendation, but I already do this. So why don't you know that? Why don't you know that? Why aren't you sharing it? It's like, this is the kind of stuff where it's like, again, you mean well, and I understand that, and I'm acknowledging that, but like, why don't you know that I spend literally countless hours into all hours of the night making clips that are posted on my YouTube channel right now, that are posted on my Substack, that are posted on my Twitter, sometimes even on my Instagram. I already do this. So why aren't people utilizing it? Jenny's getting inky with it. Nothing will actually change if people aren't willing to fund the uncontrollable because they're only hearing the approved talking points from the paid man who sold his mouth to big money. Yep. So Stephen B, I click on all the short clips, even if I saw the long form to help the algorithm. I do appreciate that, Stephen B. So how many clips do you want me to make exactly, bro? How many clips do you want me to make? Are we going to complain about the length? I mean, it's just like Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, you want me to step up the production value? Oh, okay. Okay. How precisely do you want me to step up the production value when I'm the only person doing this? You want me to step up? Do you want me to build a whole set? Will it make it easier for you if I build a whole set and get a producer and have better lighting and lose weight so that I look thinner and prettier on camera? Will that make you more interested in what's going on in the world, bro? Please. This is what I'm it's like this is what I'm talking about, man. It's like Carlin, make clips. I do make clips, but you don't do it the right way. Carlin, step up production value. How? Mark, the very best thing that people can do is actually share the content. Here is how people could help. And listen, here is where I'm at right now. I have made commitments through the end of the year. I'm going to keep to the plan that I have set for the end of, until the end of the year. And I'm not deviating from it. If things change significantly within the next month, and why do I have a fruit fly frying in front of me? Because I left my lunch up here a week ago. If things change significantly in the next month, then I might reconsider. If things do not change significantly in the next month, then I am going to dramatically reduce the amount of time I spend on this stuff. And maybe I'm going to go have a life, because if no one cares about the content and it's not going to get covered anywhere and people aren't going to see it and people are going to be making demands about my production value, then I just don't need to do it anymore. But here's what people can do that would be helpful. Share every single thing I post on Twitter. Not the snarky bullshit. Share when I post clips on Twitter, share them. Share them with a quote tweet so I can retweet it. And when I post articles on Twitter, share them. Share them with a quote tweet so I can retweet it. Like videos, click on videos, share my content out to your community. If you want me to go on shows, then contact the shows and tell them about me, because it doesn't mean anything coming from me. I tried. It didn't work. They refused. But maybe if people reach out to them and say, you should talk to Carlin for reason X, Y, B, and Z, maybe that will have more impact. I don't know. But what I do know is that something's got to change, man. Something's got to change. Because I can't keep doing this. It is soul sucking. It is fucking soul sucking. I know you hate the idea, but I strongly suggest you think about whose? 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 Whose channels? Whose? I'm not gonna go on Tim Pool. I'm not gonna go on Steven Crowder. The Blaze ignores my work, so that's not going to happen. The Daily Wire will never cover never. That's never going to happen. Never in a billion years is that going to happen. Whose channels? There are people that I will not interact with. I will not I will not. I don't want their audience. He can reach out to me if he wants me to come on. I'm not going to go to him. I strongly doubt that will ever happen, but maybe email him and ask. I don't know. See, guys, here's the thing. I'm not going to beg to go. I'm not going to reach out to these people. I'm not going to do it. I'll tell you that right now. The reason is that I wasted countless hours reaching out to these people and I don't want to do it anymore. I mean, I can't just go on Joe Rogan. And I don't even know if that's a good idea anyway. I don't even know how to. That's probably not going to happen. I strongly doubt this is going to happen, and I'm not even sure I wanted to anyway. Destiny's audience is not the audience that I want. Listen, guys, listen. I made a mistake in 2020 of cultivating the wrong fucking audience, and I paid dearly for cultivating the wrong audience for years. Destiny's audience is not the audience that I want. Brad had a dumbass clip stitch on today that is clearly answered via your content. Well, that's true of like all of them. I love Mel K. I love Mel K actually for the briefest of moments gave me hope again. I was like, "Oh man, she actually gets it." Mel K is great. I know Benjamin Boyce. Benjamin Boyce is welcome to reach out to me if he wants me on. He knows how to get in touch. Not an audience I want. I know it seems like I'm being difficult right now, but like oh no, Stick Sex and Hammer would never have me on. No, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work because I triggered Stick Sex and Hammer too badly about a year and a half ago, something like that. Stick Sex and Hammer thinks he knows who I am and he thinks he knows what I cover and what I believe in when in fact he has no fucking idea. Stick Sex and Hammer did a whole video smearing me because I pissed him off by triggering him on Twitter. Nah, that's probably not going to work out. She is way too into conservative grifting at the moment to do that. I know it seems like I'm being difficult, guys, but there are realities. They're just realities. Oh, no. No, that's not going to happen. Not going to happen. The reality is, guys, that with everyone that you guys named, you need to play, well, not everyone, but like most of them, you need to play a certain game. And I'm not willing to play the game. I am not willing to sell my soul and to things would be so much easier if I was willing to pretend to be someone who I'm not. Oh no, that's not going to happen. No, 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 no. No, no, no. Would you be willing to team up with the right person to do some streams? Something who's looking for Mark, I don't believe that people aren't. I mean, well, I guess there are a few. Like, I'm honestly, it would actually probably require more work from me to do that than I'm willing to give. I mean, maybe, I guess, but it's not really the issue, though. It's not really the issue. The issue is that nothing I fucking do is good enough for these people. Deb M on Rumble says, wondering what your experience was like with Ryan Matta. I thought Ryan was a good guy. I thought it was all right. I don't know that it actually got me a lot of audience, but there has to be some interesting people starting out that would be worth giving a leg up to by doing something together. Who? That's not going to happen. That is absolutely not going to happen. I'm sorry. So I strongly doubt that will ever happen. But regardless, guys, and I know I want to acknowledge, I know that everyone's trying to be helpful, but like there are things that I'm not willing to do. There are things that I'm not fucking willing to do. If people want to talk to me, I guarantee you, the vast majority of people that were listed either follow me on Twitter, are subscribed to my fucking emails, or have followed my work for literally years. They all know how to get in touch with me. I'm not going to shill myself out. I'm not going to pimp myself out. I feel like I've reached the point where my work really should speak for itself, and either people are interested in it or they're not. And if we're living in the reality where there is nothing that I can do to actually get people to interact with this content because it's not good for the brand, darling. She's too fat and ugly, darling. She's not good for the brand. She has a tone. Have you heard that have you heard that evil cunt's tone? If my work doesn't speak for itself, I'm not going to beg. I shouldn't have to beg. Yeah, I think this is definitely part of it. I think people think Carlin is small potatoes, so they rather just steal from me, because if they steal my content, guys, then they don't need to have that fat bitch on to explain it. They just claim credit for it themselves. Steven says, this is for your frustration, your anger, your tears, and your kick-ass principles. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Steven. And don't think I don't see you sharing my stuff, because I do see it and I do appreciate it. I don't know how to fix this problem, guys. This is the thing. I just don't know how to fix this problem. I'm down for whatever you do. We'll always support you so long as you keep hosting movie nights. I love you, Jennifer. Thank you. Thank you for all you do. Free Talk Live won't get me anything. What, with the current number of supporters, how much would you have to increase the subscription cost to make it worth it? Well, if I increase the subscription cost, that's not going to increase it for current supporters. Current supporters will be subscribed at whatever price they signed up as. So what I really need is about 400 new supporters by the end of the year, if I'm being honest. That's what I actually need. Now, I set the goal of 200 new supporters by the end of the year to give it an achievable goal, and I don't think I'm going to meet that goal. But if I'm being honest, what I actually need is like 400 new supporters by the end of the year. We're less than 100. We're about 90 since I started this, which is good. Don't get me wrong. And again, I don't want to appear ungrateful, because I am incredibly grateful for everyone who's chosen to support it. But reality is reality. And it's like, I really thought I could make this grassroots fundraising thing work, but I just... And the thing of it is, guys, it's... There are different factors. There's the business reality of this. There's also just the, I feel like my work is incredibly undervalued and I'm tired of it. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of like doing the best fucking work in the space and it just being not acknowledged. I'm fucking tired of it. Rottweiler Lotus Eater's right, only to be called a groomer because you don't agree with them on saving white Western civilization. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's not going to happen. Just Jamie, the conservatives treat you the same way the Pharisees treated Jesus. They have literally become what they condemn. The irony is not lost on me. Yeah. Yes, they have. Yes, they have. Oh, no, 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 no. Hard no. Doing a PragerU video was one of the worst mistakes I've ever made in my life. I would never work with that organization again. Absolutely not. Not in any universe. I don't care how many millions of views it would get, because the millions of views, I was one of the top fucking PragerU videos in 2020. The millions of views that they got on that video were not fucking worth it for the living hell that I got put through as a result of doing that video. Absolutely not. Well, that's James Lindsay, so that's not going to work. I strongly doubt that's going to work. No, I own my home, and I'm not going to tell you how much my mortgage is. No. I'm not in the poorhouse or anything, guys. Like, to be very clear, I'm not in the poorhouse, but there are business realities. And every single minute that I spend doing this that is completely unappreciated by anyone. Well, not by anyone. I shouldn't say that. I'm being hyperbolic. Every single minute I spend doing this, and these things take, listen, I planned for a year to go undercover at this conference. This cost me thousands of dollars, but I also planned for it for a fucking year. I was heavily gearing up for this for months before I actually did this. Every single second I spent planning to go undercover at this socialism conference, getting the gear I needed to go undercover at the socialism conference, doing anything related to that at all was a minute that I could have spent making money in other ways that I did not spend making money in other ways because I was doing this. This is not about like being in the poorhouse. This is about the probably 80 hours a week that I put into this to produce some of the best fucking content in the space, not being valued, not being appreciated, not being taken advantage of. And if people don't value it, I'll fucking go do something else. That's what it's about, bro. I redid my subscription to pay the new fee just to. Well, Steven, I do appreciate that. Thank you. At the end of the day, it's about whether or not what I'm doing is valued. That's what this is about. And the money aspect of it, I think, is a reflection about how my work is valued. And if the money aspect isn't working out from a business perspective, and my work is not valued on, quite frankly, the scale that it should be valued, then what do people want me to do? Like, I feel like I'm backed into a corner where I tried. I talked about this a month ago, and I tried to explain to people, and I tried to make people get it, and then it was just things just kept piling up more and more and more and more and more, and it's like, bro. And then today I get smacked in the face with the fact that nothing that I fucking do is valued. And it's like, enough is enough, man. Enough is enough. I know you're not receptive to any idea. Well, no, Nick, that's not going to happen. I do appreciate it, but that's not going to happen. Thank you. So, I don't know. Let's see. No, 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 probably not. I would say that I don't actually think any of these are going to happen. Give it a try, see how it goes, but I don't think any of that's going to happen. So, I kept trying to tell people that this was going to happen at some point. I kept trying to tell people. Does anyone have any questions, or have I been clear about my thinking about this? Now, to be clear again, I have commitments that I've made through the end of the year. I'm going to do Spy Stream tomorrow, and I'm going to do this. That's not going to work. I'm betting. Again, guys, it's not as though they don't know about me. I've literally been on that show before. I strongly doubt they even know what I'm doing, though. And I'm not going to beg them. Andrew's not really covering content. He's not really covering content that I think aligns with my content. I like Andrew. Andrew's a really nice guy. Like, really nice guy. But I don't think there's alignment between the audience that he has and what I'm doing at all. Not at all. He's doing, like, Scientology and, like, royal content, and it's like, I like gossip content as much as the next guy, but Andrew, when I met Andrew, was doing cult content, and that was much more interesting to me, and I think much more relevant to what I was doing, but now he's doing this Scientology stuff, and it's like, again, I don't like I appreciate it, and he's become very successful at it, and I my hat's off to him. I'm really happy for him that his stuff has blown up so much, and, like, again, I have nothing bad to say about the guy. I just don't think that that audience aligns with what I'm doing. I strongly doubt that she would be able to understand what I'm doing. It's a I strongly doubt she'd be able to understand it. Maybe I'm wrong. And this is the problem, guys. It's like, are there people out there? I'm trying to get my hood straight. I don't know. I don't Okay. I mean, there are several layers to this problem, right? It's like, first off, I don't believe in the argument of, like, quantity of audience over quality of audience, because I built a platform with the wrong audience, and it fucked me over dramatically. And I spent 2 years trying to transition my audience out of the people who only followed me because I was a Democrat that went to a Trump rally and then became a conservative, which never actually happened, and I was always clear it never actually happened. But, like, I was like, they followed me because I was symbolic of something, not because of anything I was actually doing. And so I have experience with building quantity over quality, and it just doesn't work. And since then, my content's gotten very niche, and I mean, I know this is shocking, but just not that many people wanna sit here and watch hardcore socialism. Okay, fine. So that's why I get so many more hits on my Substack than I do on my YouTube, I think, because, like, I break it down more on my Substack than I do on YouTube, because YouTube is for research and Substack is for actually presenting the content. But I don't know, like, you name some of these, like, conservative shows, and the first thing that comes into my head is, they're not smart enough to understand what I'm doing. It's gonna be a nightmare. Their audience is not a good audience for me. Like, they may have thousands of people watching them every single day, and it's like, if it's the wrong audience, that audience is just gonna come into the feed and cause problems. They're just gonna come into the chat and cause problems, and they're going to whine, and they're going to complain, and I don't think that that's going to work, because I strongly suspect that his audience would not be receptive to what I'm doing. Like, I look at, like, Styx Hexenhammer's audience, I think Styx's audience is conservatives, I don't think they're libertarians. I have some experience interacting with Styx's audience, I think they're conservatives, and I don't think they're particularly smart, and I don't think that would work. So, I don't know how to expand my audience when there's nowhere to expand to, you know? I don't know how to get in front of them. And I have all these doors shut to me because I refuse to toe the conservative line, and I'm not gonna relent on that. I am not going to relent, because if I relented, I'd be selling my soul. So, I don't know what the solution is to this problem, guys. I really don't, and I feel like I've tried to figure it out, and I just don't know. So I strongly doubt it, but give it a try and see what happens. The silence will probably be deafening. Anyway, so my plan right now is I'm gonna keep my commitments through the end of the year. We're still gonna do the spy stream tomorrow. We're still gonna do this infiltration, which is coming up. I'm gonna be sending out information about this very soon. This is a multi-day teacher training infiltration that you're gonna be able to watch live if you want to. I'm still gonna be writing stuff for the Substack for the time being. I'm still gonna be just trying to keep my commitments and doing things like there is nothing I would love more for than to be proven wrong. This is not about like this is not about as soul sucking as this content is to do, it's not that I don't want to do it anymore. I do want to do it. It's not that I want to walk away from this. I just don't see a way to make this work in the way things currently are. I don't see it. I don't see a path to victory. I can literally do everything right that I'm willing to do because there are some things that I'm just not willing to do. I can literally do everything right and still not be able to get to the place that I need to be in order to rationalize this. Sarah, if I can't get people to if I can't get the required people to fund my work now, then how could I possibly get them to pay more? Like I said, you know? If less than 1% of the people who read my work on Substack actually funded it, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. Less than 1%. That was an entirely organically built email list. Less than 1% I need to fund it. They aren't. So well, when are they going to be relevant, John? Because I've had these clips for a year now. They've been put out there and they're never covered. So when are they going to be relevant? Who's going to cover them? There's nothing I would love more than to be proven wrong, honestly. But I don't see a path to being able to be successful here. Not with the way things are right now. And so I'm left with options. Do I keep beating my head against the wall? Being angry every day? Being frustrated every day? I mean, when I could be spending my time doing things that are a whole lot easier and that actually make me more money so that maybe I can actually take a vacation sometime. Oh, no, that's not gonna work. No, no, no. No, no, no. First of all, Viva is not smart enough to understand my content. Secondly, Viva's an asshole, and I don't want anything to do with him. Well, John, that might be relevant if I hadn't already been through an election year with the clips that I have and them going utterly ignored the entire year. I don't see a way out of this, guys. I really just don't. So maybe there'll be a miracle that happens in the next month. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a Christmas miracle and things will turn around. But if they don't, there are going to be changes in 2024. And so I'm not going to beg for help. I'm not going to say, here's what you need to do if you don't want there to be changes. I made very clear what my grievances are. My grievances are that I am currently funding all of my investigative journalism out of my fucking savings account. And even though I'm not in the poorhouse or anything, and I don't want anyone to freak out because I'm not, I am tired of spending my own money on things when if less than 1% of my audience saw value in what I was doing, it would already be funded like no problem. If less than 1% of the people who consume my content on a monthly basis thought it was valuable, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. But clearly I'm doing something wrong. Because clearly if I can't get 1% of the people who are consuming my audience every single month to fucking fund it, then I'm doing something wrong. Or maybe what I'm doing is not that good. Maybe I'm wrong when I say that I'm doing the best content in this space on these topics. Maybe I'm wrong when I say that I'm doing the most nuanced content in the space on these topics. Maybe I'm wrong when I say that maybe I'm wrong to believe that people care about, investigative reporting on these things. Maybe I'm wrong to believe that this content is as important as I think it is. Maybe I'm wrong on all of this. Maybe I'm just wrong. If I thought more people valued what I was doing, then I would probably overlook the money thing and just continue to fund it and just work it out and figure out other ways. But I'm not going to beg people to step up. I've been very clear about what I think needs to happen, and either it works out or it doesn't. But maybe I'm just wrong. I don't know. Beth, thank you for the super chat. I'm so sorry about this, Carlin. When I share your work or talk about it, people simply do not want to believe that this could happen in America. We have grown lazy and comfortable, and this is what you get. I support you, whatever you decide. Thank you, Beth. I do appreciate it. So, I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. Well, this is a conservative. Well, Carlin, do you know why conservatives refuse to interact with your content? Because you are a former Democrat and you just haven't adjusted to being outside of your echo chamber with us free thinkers. You see, conservatives are free thinkers. And you, Carlin, just expect your audience to be an echo chamber. Did you ever think of that, Carlin? Did you ever think that maybe it is your fault for expecting your audience to be a conservative or an echo chamber for you? Maybe that's why we don't actually care what the left is doing. Maybe we're just independent free thinkers and you don't allow free thinkers in your community. Bro, shut the fuck up. In fact, goodbye. I'm banning you on principle. Deal with that shit every day. Every fucking day. Every fucking day. I want the best for you, Carlin. You are not wrong. Thank you, Sin. I appreciate it. Allison, I love your attitude. I can hear this in your voice too, because Allison is in my supporter community and I know what she sounds like and looks like. Like, I can hear this in your voice too. I love your optimism. Thank you, bot. I don't think that's the right audience. I do not think that that is the right audience at all. So, anyway, it sucks, right? It sucks because I know what I do is niche content. I really do get that. But I really thought that at some point people would see and they would start to care because even though it's niche content, it's highly relevant to what's going on in the world, and I really thought that if I just got enough clips or the right clips, I could eventually show people how this crazy leftist socialism stuff actually is more relevant than like any of the shit you're seeing on Libs of TikTok. It's more relevant than anything you're seeing in the Daily Wire. It's more relevant to what's going on in your lives than any other fucking type of content. But all you need to do is sit and actually listen to them, and you're going to see how it's relevant if you sit and listen to them. I really thought if I just collected enough, then eventually it'd become clear, and I just don't know if I like, especially after, like, the last 3 weeks of Socialism Saturdays with, like, the Socialism Saturdays that we've had where they're saying the quiet part out loud over and over and over and over and over and over and literally talking about how they're gonna stage some sort of pre-election revolutionary event in 2024. We have them on tape saying this. And no one cares. No one cares. Well, Project Veritas no longer exists. So, no, I don't think that that would be a good partner. Maybe at one time there was the potential of that, but no. Whatever you do in the future, you may not feel like a rock star, but just remember you have forever opened the eyes. Well, then where the fuck are those people? Then where are they? Then where are they? I wish I believed that was true. I think I have opened some people's eyes. But I'm just so tired of fighting with people over this. I'm so tired. I am so tired of like I'm so tired of fighting with people to get them to pay attention. I'm so tired of having to unteach them things that their conservative influencers have taught them that are just not true. I'm so tired of literally I fucking gave Chris Rufo a clip that directly contradicted a point he was making from the mouth of the person he was fucking quoting. And it's still an argument. Everything is an argument. Everything is just like, let me take content and twist it to achieve my political talking points, and that's all they fucking care about. I'm so tired of having to argue with people to get them to see. I'm so tired of having to convince people that this is something that's worth actually learning. I'm so tired of being asked, Carlin, what do we do to fight back against the left? And then saying, I wrote a whole book about that. And them saying, you're a grifter. Happens every day. I'm so tired of saying, okay, well, you want to know what you need to do to fight back against the left? You need to learn their language. You need to learn the language that they're using, and I will teach you the language for free. But what you need to do is come and sit your ass down and listen. And they go, no, I don't want to learn the language. I want to fight back. And I say, well, nothing you do is going to be successful if you don't know the language. And then they never come back because they're like, that bitch won't give me what I want. It's like, okay, well. I strongly doubt Nick Fuentes had anything to do with any of this because this was going on far before Nick Fuentes said nice things about me on his show. This has been going on for literally years. And I've just reached my breaking point with it. So, him saying nice things about me on his show, like, a couple months ago or like whenever that happened, that has no relevance to my issue right now. It may be a convenient excuse for people, but it had has no bearing on this. What about uncivil law? No, 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 no. I'm not going back into LawTube. I did one thing with a LawTube asshole, and I'm never doing that again. I don't think that's a good idea. He does not literally repeat my talking points. He literally repeats talking points that he gets from conservative influencers that have no idea what he's talking about. Tim Pool does not repeat my talking points at all. Tim Pool has no fucking clue. So I don't know what to do. And I don't really have anything else to say. So I'm just like hanging out now. I'm just really disappointed. I really thought it would work. Well, if my data was heavily used, then I wouldn't be in this position, would I? Of saying that no one cares about this stuff. No one's using what I've given them. So that's just not true. But I appreciate everyone trying to help. I appreciate the nice words. I really, really do. And I don't want people to think it goes unnoticed. I don't want to let people down. I know this is letting people down, but maybe things will turn around in the next month and maybe, I don't know. Just like, my goal change is I want my work to be valued. My work is not currently valued in the way that it needs to be valued in order to make the impact it should be having. And so if my work is not going to be valued, then I'm not going to keep doing it. I mean, I've been warning people about this for a while. I've been warning people that, like, you know, I don't know what people want. I don't know what people expect. I don't know why people expect that they're entitled to like free shit and they're entitled and paying someone like $5 a month entitles them to be able to whine and complain and whine and complain and whine and complain and demand and demand and demand. And it's like, I don't know. I just really thought, like, especially after the socialism conference, everything got derailed after the socialism conference because even though there was great coverage, well, better coverage from the socialism conference than like anything else I've done all year, it still wasn't. I literally went undercover at a fucking socialism conference. I literally sat in a room with 400 Antifa for 3 days. And to see what happened after that, I know you guys don't have the view that I have, but like to see how many people stole my work without attribution, to see how many people ignored my work that if someone else had covered it and it didn't come from me, they would have been all over that shit. But the fact that it came from me, oh no, no, no. We can't talk about it because did you know Carlin is an epic bitch and she's so fat and so ugly and we can't possibly cover news that was that was discovered by an undercover journalist that is both fat and ugly. Guys, how would that look for the brand? How would that possibly look for the brand if we covered the work of a journalist who is fat and ugly? We only cover the work work of female journalists that are under 130 pounds, and 130 pounds is really pushing it, and blonde and show off their tits. That's all we do. Because it's just bad for brand. Bad for brand. Can't have fat, ugly bitches on our show. Can't cover the work of fat, ugly bitches. And did you know she has an attitude? She has an attitude problem. So it's not enough that she put herself in the middle of 400 Antifa for 3 days to get a recording that none of us got. She has an attitude, okay? And she fights with people. And therefore, it's totally fine for socialist teachers to be infiltrating Florida classrooms, breaking Ron DeSantis's anti-woke laws. We're going to overlook the socialists that are infiltrating our schools because Carlin is a fat, ugly bitch, okay? Like, really? 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 Yes. Well, it's more about none of them care about the problems they claim to care about. None of them actually care about this. None of them actually care about this. My problem is I care too much about this. I need to start caring a lot less about this. I should just stop fucking caring that all of this is happening right in front of me. I should just stop fucking caring. They don't care. No one else cares. Why should I? So you want me to not take credit for my own work to kiss the asses of conservative influencers who are offended by my tone of voice? No. No. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen at all. Trendillan says, I think it's mostly that you're not a Christian and you have. Oh yeah, Carlin has weird spiritual beliefs where she. Did you know that Carlin believes that everyone goes to heaven? Did you know that Carlin believes that God loves everyone unconditionally? That bitch. That bitch. We can't possibly show the things that Carlin has unearthed about what's going on in the schools that no one else bothered to look for. Because Carlin believes that everyone goes to heaven and God loves everyone unconditionally. I mean, my God, these fucking people don't deserve help. They don't deserve help. I mean, that's probably the biggest part of it all. It's like these people don't deserve it. I'm not saying that I think that. I'm saying that's what I hear on the internet every day. Whenever I try to share what I've learned through you in the Socialism Saturday feeds, I get blocked. I get called devices. I don't know what that means, Trendillan. And nothing is done with it. I've lost friends over speaking the truth. Yeah. Yep. I don't know that this is going to go on for much longer. I don't really have anything else to say. I'm just kind of hanging out right now. Then people need to do something with it. Then people need to do. Listen, guys. If every single person watching right now emailed the autistics, emailed any of these stories, any of them, any of these fucking stories, any of these stories. But if 200 people right now emailed, say, the autistic sex ed story to any of these outlets, it would probably get their attention. The problem is I know that's not going to happen. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, guys, here's what you need to do. You need to send a fucking email, okay? Like, I'm not going to beg people to do that. It makes me feel smarmy. It makes me feel like a fucking used car salesman. If people think the content is worthy of coverage, then send it to people. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. I can't even get people to like fucking hit the like button. I can't even get people to mount the like button. And like, what do you want? It's like, anyway. Well, do you know what happens, Jennifer, when I do that? Is I get these morons on Twitter is like, Carlin is begging people to share her content because no one likes Carlin's content. All of Carlin's content sucks, and that's why she has to beg people to share it. They're gonna take they're celebrating of this. They're I promise you, they're celebrating this stream right now. They're like, look, we finally got Carlin to quit. Yeah. So like I said, guys, we're still gonna proceed for the next month, but I'm really reevaluating things right now. Like what I got hit with today in the face was pretty fucking overwhelming, if I'm honest. I'm not gonna say what it was exactly, but like it was just overwhelming, and it's just like I started out the day good, and then like smacked in the face with "You're doing everything right, Carlin, but it's still not good enough." I'm like, "What the fuck do you want from me? I swear to God, what the fuck do you want from me? You're doing all the right things. You're showing up consistently. You're working hard. You're doing this. You're doing that. You're doing the other thing, but it's still not good enough." Okay. Okay. Sure. Sure. I'm not saying like that specifically was said. I was just like, maybe if I went to the gym and I lost 50 pounds and I wore low cut shirts and started an OnlyFans, maybe then it would be good enough. Yeah. I just worry if we take a break, we're gonna lose what little momentum we have because this isn't gonna take long. Oh, we're fucked. Oh, make no mistake, Trendlin. I mean, I'm sorry. I know you're driving. Don't go off the road or anything, but like, we're fucked. And part of the reason that we're fucked is that I can provide these influencers with all the information they need in order to be able to educate their audiences about what the left is actually doing and how to beat them. And none of them care enough to listen. None of them really even understand it. None of them are interested in understanding it. None of them are going to tell it to their audiences because it's much easier to do libs of TikTok clickbait bullshit than it is to do what I'm doing. So we're fucked. Like, make no mistake, we are fucked. If they can't do the easy things, they're not going to do the hard things, you know? Oh, golly gee, why didn't I think of that? Oh, I did. Oh, I did. Yeah, I did already. Did. Well, when I just ask, it doesn't happen. Let me check something real quick. When I just ask, it doesn't happen. So, yeah. Well, I am in charge of saying that I've had enough. I am very much in charge of saying I've had enough. I tried. I did my best. It wasn't good enough. I've had enough. I've had enough. I'm just looking in the Rumble chat. On Rumble, I'm hearing that I would have more viewers if I said the word fuck a lot less. Because God knows, guys, God knows. Do you know what the most important thing about my content is? That I swear. And if Carlin is going to say the word fuck as much as she fucking wants, that should just overshadow everything that she's showing us. Because do you know what's really important? It's not what the socialist left is doing or how they've taken over the schools or how they're going to destroy parental rights or how they're transing your kids or any of that. Do you know what the most important thing is, guys? That I say the word fuck. And if I say the word fuck as much as I damn well fucking please, that is way more important. Way and we just can't help it, Carl. Like it's a step too far, okay? We're going to go back to our safe Christian content that lies to us and tells us whatever we want to hear, but they never say the word fuck. Okay. So, anyway. We're going to become a Marxist country, but you know what? My language is what's really important. Like, fuck you. My language, my weight, my looks, my clothes, my haircut. Those are the things that are most important, right? God, I hate these people so much. I genuinely have a disdain for these people. This is part of the problem. I genuinely have a disdain for these people. So, anyway, like I said, I'm just like chatting right now. If anyone has any ideas that there are a couple things that I'm doing in December that maybe could help move the needle. Maybe. If those things help move the needle, then maybe I'll reconsider this. But like I said, I'm going to be just really thinking about this and trying to figure out how to like transition essentially. Like I said, guys, it's not that I necessarily want to give up this stuff, but I don't know how to make it work if what I'm doing is not already good enough. I don't know how to make it work if what I'm doing is not good enough. Because I can't do anymore. I don't have time. There's so much more I wanna do already. There's so many more things that I had planned for this year that I wanted to do already. There's so many things I'm behind on. There's so many things, like, that I really thought could be really fucking impactful, and, but if what I'm already doing isn't good enough, then continuing to add more and more and more and more and more to my plate is not the answer to the problem because it's not going to work. I'm already not sleeping as it is. I'm already eating 1 meal a day as it is. I'm already like, I don't have a fucking life as it is. So I can't take on any more. I'm doing what I can. And if that's not good enough, then it's just not good enough. And that's just the way it goes sometimes. Life is not fucking fair. We don't always get what we want. We don't always get a fucking pony. Even when we try hard and we show up and we do our best, sometimes it just doesn't work out. And I don't know if this is gonna work out, and I don't know what to do about it. So, there's a couple things coming up in December that maybe could move the needle. Maybe if it does, I will see things differently. Maybe if things change, I will see things differently, but I'm giving it 1 more month, and if the needle doesn't fucking move, then I tried, I shot my shot, and sometimes things work out and sometimes they don't, and it's just the way it goes. But I cannot keep killing myself and doing everything that I'm doing when it's not valued and it's not appreciated and it's not having the impact that it should have. And I keep coming back to the fact, like, am I deluding myself? Am I lying to myself about the quality of what I'm doing? Like, is that what it is? Is it really that, like, am I just totally fucking delusional about, like, I mean, maybe no one else is doing this type of content for a reason. Like, I look at people that I think are smart and they don't get it at all and they don't engage with it at all, and it's like, "Bro." And so if, like, I look at people that are, like, smart and they're not getting it at all, and they just wanna focus on, "Carlin is so fat and ugly and has a mean tone." It's like, maybe I'm just, like, maybe I'm just deluding myself. Maybe I'm just, like, entertaining myself, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Because if my work is really as good as I think it is, and as good as many of you think it is, then why isn't it getting coverage? Then why isn't it having an impact? Then why aren't people seeing what the fuck is the problem? Honestly, are the egos really that big? Yes, they are that big. I mean that's really the answer, isn't it? The answer is I refuse to play the fucking game. I refuse. It makes me feel like a used fucking car salesman. It makes me feel like I have to adopt a completely inauthentic persona. It makes me feel like slime, to be honest. I don't want to do it. It makes me feel like a sellout. I'm not going to play that fucking game. And if I have to choose between getting my content like further out there and playing that game, or not getting my content farther out there and just quitting and going home because it's impossible to do if you don't play the fucking game, I choose to quit. Because at that point, it's like, you don't fucking deserve me. I'm sorry. If your expectation is that I'm going to play your fucking game to kiss your ass in order to get you to cover the things you claim to care about, you absolute fucking grifter shill, then I would rather give up and take my toys and go home and go do fucking corporate consulting for the next, 30 years, whatever it is, until we slide into the Marxist utopia, and then we're all really fucked, because at least I will be more sane than I am now. If you require someone to kiss your ass and speak your talking points and speak in the right tone and lose 50 pounds and maybe get some blue contacts, Carlin. Have you ever thought about getting contacts? And maybe you just need a good push-up bra. If that's what you need to tell people what's really going on, if that's what you need to tell people to inform people about what's going on, you are not fucking worthy of me. I'm sorry. Anyway, don't worry, bot. I'm going to wrap up. Thank you. So that's the deal, guys. We're doing a spy stream tomorrow around 2:30. That's not going to change because I already paid for the ticket. We're doing spy stream tomorrow. We're going to be doing this infiltration coming up soon. I'll be sending out more information about that very soon. I got a couple other big things going on this month. And maybe I will get a Christmas miracle, or will get a Christmas miracle, and things will change. But if they don't, we tried our best, we shot our shot, and it just didn't work. All right, guys, that's all I've got. See you soon. Thank you for hanging out and talking with me. I appreciate it. I wish those of you who showed up today would show up on a regular basis. That'd be pretty great.